Hi, I'm Tim.
I'm Li Yuan.
And I'm Julie. Welcome to episode 55 of MyDynamicTV.com. And today we're in Roskilde, my hometown, so stay tuned.
So today we are sailing towards Roskilde, just as the Vikings did 1,000 years ago. Well, not really. We're on a ship. It's a bit dramatic to say that. But we're actually taking a 2-hour cruise in MS Sagafjord, and we'll be showing you a bit about that shortly. But first I think we should talk a little bit about Roskilde, because it is an interesting city.
Yeah, why are we here today?
Well, they're here today to visit me because I live here in Roskilde, this wonderful city, for almost like 15 years. So more than 1,000 years ago, the Viking actually established this town to be one of the most important cities throughout Europe. And I think that for a couple hundred years, Roskilde was considered as the capital of Denmark as well.
I mean, the most famous one is the Roskilde Festival.
Yes, that is probably what you've heard of. 75,000 people plus I think there's about 10 or 15,000 involved in putting the festival on every year, first weekend of July.
Just for the music.
Bands. Yeah, it's one of the biggest festivals in Europe. Thousands and thousands of people come to Denmark for that festival actually each year.
What's about we go in and talk to the captain of this ship?
Wow, this is cool.
So you can see the ship starts slowly turning to the right, to the starboard, and you must look up there and put the wheel at 0.
And it looks quite old.
And everything here on board is quite old. Even the skipper is quite old.
So how old is this ship?
50 years.
50 years.
Yes, 50 years old.
And how many years have you seen this?
Oh, I have only been here partly the last 3 years.
Okay. Hey guys, I can do this.
All right. Almost.
Trust me. Hold my hand.
Well, that was a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah. I was sailing the ship.
Yeah,
You became a captain today.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Captain Li Yuan.
And I can see just over there's a Viking ship, which I think that's going to be our next stop actually, sailing on one of those and seeing the Viking Ship Museum, which is pretty interesting stuff actually.
Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah. Be good?
So, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Standing here with Louise Henriksen, who's from the Viking Ship Museum, and welcome to our show.
Thank you.
So can you please start with introduce us a little bit about this museum?
Of course, yeah. The museum was built during the 1970s, and it was built to house the 5 ships that we have here, which was found 20 kilometers out in the fjord of Roskilde. It was all ships that was placed on the bottom of the fjord on purpose by the Vikings, because they were meant to be part of a sailing barrier to keep enemies out of the city of Roskilde. So when the ships was found, they were transported into an archaeological workshop that was put up temporarily in Roskilde, and then a few years later they decided to build an actual museum for the 5 Viking ships. So the museum building is functioning as an actual casing for these 5 ships.
Okay. But so how many visitors do you have per year approximately? You know that?
Yeah, we have around 120 to 130,000 visitors a year.
Yeah.
Approximately 70% of those are from abroad.
Okay.
Americans, Germans, French, Italians, Chinese, Japanese. So we have a large percent of international guests and a smaller percentage of Danish guests.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what can you do as a visitor besides walking around and looking at all the ships? What else can you do?
The outside area, the harbour and the museum island haven't always been there. It was built in 1996-97 because we then started to do what we call experimental archaeology, where we built exact copies, reconstructions of these 5 ships. So when you come as a visitor today, we have a lot of outdoor activities. First of all, you can go out sailing, which is the main focus and main activity here. We like to give people an experience, so when they walk around in here looking at the old wreck, and then afterwards go out sailing, they get an actual feel on how it was to be on board a Viking ship, and then they probably gain a better understanding of the old wrecks in here. So to add to the experience of the old Viking ship, we send them out in a newer ship. But all the ships that we have in our harbour is either reconstructions or traditional Nordic boats that has been built in the exact same tradition as they used in the Viking Age. So they are descendant of the Viking ships.
That seems to be great. I mean, maybe this is a place, for people to come here and learn how to be a Viking.
Exactly, yeah. We really try to focus on the hands-on experience. Yeah,
I think that's what makes this museum very unique, and I also love to come here, after this area was built and enlarged. So, thank you very much for your time and tell us about this museum. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is the way to end the tour of Roskilde. Grab an ice cream, enjoy the sights, the harbour.
The atmosphere.
It's been a good episode, huh?
It was really nice. I mean, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know, we do a lot of things, so
and we'll
it was
come back and show you the rest of the city, before too long.
Yeah.
But this gives you a bit of an idea of the harbour. So, join us next time.
Yeah.
Next week, be a brand new episode.
Yeah.
In the meantime, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com, MyDenmarkTV. And see you next week.
Yeah.
See you next Wednesday.
See you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Na, na.